Good morning and welcome to the second in this series of videos that I'm doing, which are, if you watch the whole series, going to introduce you to all the steps in the Shibashi qigong set that I teach in my face-to-face classes. Last week I covered getting yourself into good posture, getting into good bear stance. In many ways, that is just as important as anything that you do with your arms or your body in the 18 moves that the Shibashi set consists of. If you are looking to introduce a practice of qigong into your daily routine, then actually a standing qigong where you get yourself into bear stance and just stand and breathe and root and ground yourself, going through that process that I take you through at the start of the set. That is just as much doing qigong as standing there taking yourself through any forms that you know. And if you can't do anything else, just find 5 minutes or maybe even 1 minute a day. Just get yourself into bear stance and stand and breathe and be rooted and grounded. Because the essence of qigong is in fact stillness, which is an awful paradox when you think of how much movement your arms are doing. But just standing and being still in a very busy world where we've all got lots to do and we're all often rushing around is incredibly beneficial. And when you get into the bear stance, you're standing in the best possible posture, which is good for your body, it's good for your energy flow. And if you stand and breathe and you're mindful of your breathing, you can still your body and hopefully still your mind, and just give yourself a quiet minute, or hopefully even longer. If all you can do is a minute, then just do a minute, because you will be doing yourself an awful lot of good. So, this week I'm going to deal with the first and probably one of the most simple moves in the Shibashi qigong set, which is raising of the arms. It's sometimes called opening the gates or raising the water, because the energetic intention behind this move is that you're literally pulling your chi up to fill this part of your body, which is called the lower dantian, to fill that with your chi. Now, in essence, when you first see this move, it looks as if you are literally deliberately raising your arms up and just letting them float down. However, there is a right way and a wrong way of doing it. And if you can recognize any of these, then it's something that you need to think about. If you are consciously raising your arms and it's all coming from the shoulder, that's wrong. If your arms are quite stiff and rigid, and as you do it, you're feeling an ache in your muscles, which one lady did complain of in a class that I ran earlier this week, then again, that's a sign that you're doing it wrong. So I want to introduce the concept of empty arms. What I want you to do is just to stand, let your hands hang loose, arms hang loose by the side, maybe shake them. Just shake any tension out of them. And just for a minute, just want you to stand and breathe. As you breathe in and out, you will be aware of movement in your chest and maybe a slight raise of your shoulders. And that movement, when your arms are nice and loose, gets reflected by a slight movement of your arms. When you're aware of that, all you need to do is add a slight intention. Think, oh, I'm going to just gently make that movement a little bit bigger. So get your arms hanging loose. Try to get this feeling that they're completely empty, completely relaxed. And so as you breathe in, it's not so much raising your arms as letting your arms gently float up with the in-breath and then floating down with the out-breath. So it's not so much an intentional movement as you're setting the intention. As I breathe in, I'm just going to let my arms do what feels comfortable. And at the start, you will probably find that your movement is quite small, maybe even smaller than the move I'm doing now. As you get into it, and as your shoulders loosen up, you will find probably that that movement becomes bigger and bigger, and that's absolutely fine. There is no law that says when you start doing the set, you've got to be making the full move. An awful lot of what the Shibashi Qigong set is about doing small, gentle movements that if you've got slightly tight muscles or slightly tight joints, it just gently starts unraveling things so that your joints have got more movement and flexibility so that your muscles become unknotted. Now, the arms raise up from the shoulder, but I want you to pay close attention to my hands, because my hands are not always staying in a straight line. I'm going to move a little bit closer to the camera and stand sideways on so you can see what's happening. Okay, so at the beginning, my hand is loose by my side, just hanging loose and empty. And with the in-breath, the arm rises up. And I often try to imagine that I've got a puppet string on this wrist so that the arm is being pulled up by the wrist by an invisible force. And the hand naturally lags behind. And then when I breathe out, that invisible puppeteer is just gently relaxing and letting the wrist go down. And again, the hand lags slightly behind. In technical terms, this is called yin hand and yang hand. That's something I may go into in greater detail in another video, but I'm not going to go into it now. So, with this move, everything should be relaxed. The hand should be relaxed. And again, I'm going to move a bit closer to the camera so you can see. The hand is not clenched, it's not like a karate chop hand, it's just hanging loosely open so it can respond. So the fingers are slightly open. It's almost a gentle cup. Can you see? Because one of the things with qigong is that if you've got any closed joints, or really tight joints, you're actually stopping the energy flow. Now, in this move back to the camera so you can see my face again. In this move, the energy flow is being directed through the hands. You are literally, if you think about it, trying to pull the energy up with your hands. Now, if your hands are tense, then the energy is going to stop at your hands, and what you want it to do is to flow through the whole of your body. So that means even the position of your hands is very important. So it's not a case of having rigid arms, rigid hands, and moving up like that. That may look superficially very similar to what you do in this first move. In actual fact, when you're doing it with intention, just letting everything flow, it's very different because the arms feel relaxed. Now, I want to see if I can talk you through this concept of empty arms, which actually, although this is the first move where it comes into all the moves. So it's a very good idea to deal with this in this move now, because if you can get the hang of it now, you can carry it through all the other moves. So empty arms, there is a world of difference if you try to hold your arms up like that. That's putting strain on your shoulders, it's putting strain in your muscles, and if you try to do that for too long, then your arms are going to start aching. What you need to get the concept of is that your arms are almost like jelly. So they're only responding to your breath movement. They're almost moving without any intention. Oh, my arms are all over the place watching myself. But your arms are almost moving despite the relaxation, because generally when something is really relaxed, it's not going to move very much. The best way to describe it, well, normally I would do this in partner work, but can you get your hands out and hold them up like that, hold them rigidly. And then I just want you to let everything relax. And your hands should naturally just flop down all on their own, which is not something I recommend that you do, because flopping down isn't good. But just hold your arms up and then just relax them. The difference in feeling between holding them up and then relaxing them is the empty arms. Because if your arms are empty of tension, then they are free to respond to what the body wants to do with them as you breathe. Energetically, as I've already said, this move of raising the arms is to fill the lower half of your body, the lower dantian, with your energy. Physically, obviously, it's gently relaxing and gently moving your shoulder joint, your wrist joint, and there can even be slight movement in your hands as well. And one of the key things that we now know is that if you've got joint issues like arthritis, which can happen in the shoulder, the elbow, the hands, the knees, it all can happen almost anywhere. But we know that there's this wonderful phrase that motion is the best lotion. But the best way to keep your joints healthy is to keep moving them. And so the kind of gentle moves that you do with qigong are absolutely superb for just helping to keep your joints moving in a non-threatening and non-painful way, which is physically how they can be very beneficial. And I think it's a good idea at this point to again bring in a concept that goes through the entire Shibashi set, which is, if it hurts, don't do it. You already know, if you've been following the videos that I do where I go through the 4 moves, that you can have your arms in various positions from down there to up there, that you can be moving your arms out to the side, that you can be turning your arms in various ways, that you can be turning from the waist. Now, any of those movements can cause pain or discomfort. And if you do that, then that's a very good signal that you're doing too much. Whatever you do with qigong, any movement or however much you do with qigong, you know in your own mind what you're capable of at maximum. What I want you to do is to take that maximum and dial it back to about 70% or maybe even 60%. So you're doing just over half of what you can do at your maximum. Of course, this isn't about pushing your limits. This is about enabling you to work well within your limits without causing discomfort. Because when you do that, you will gradually find that your limits expand. So with this first move, Maybe when you start off, you can only make a gentle flap. In fact, to be honest, with this first move, all you're doing is a gentle flap of your arms because your shoulders don't want to work. That's fine, because you are doing qigong. You are feeling what your body wants to do, and you are letting your body do what is comfortable for it. But you know what? If you keep doing this, you'll probably find that after a few times, that without you realizing it, that you're actually able to move your arms a little further, and you weren't even aware that you were doing it, because you're naturally responding to what your body is happy to do. So that principle, like the empty arms, goes through every single move that we'll be covering. So what I would like you to do now is to get yourself into your space where we will do the 4 moves that I normally go through in these videos. So get yourself into bear stance, whether you're sitting or standing. Get yourself into good bear stance. Take a moment to make sure that your weight is evenly distributed across both feet if you're standing. And if you're seated, again, there's still going to be a certain amount of weight on your feet. Try to make sure that that's all even, but most importantly, make sure that the weight in your hips is even, that you've not got more weight on one hip than the other. If you can engage these core muscles, please do so. Even if you can't keep it up, start off with those core muscles engaged. Put your back as straight as you can. Get your neck straight. Try to make sure that the crown of your head is pointing up at the top. So get yourself into that bear stance, and just for a moment stand and breathe. Just let everything do what it wants to do. If you breathe, tune into your body. Maybe get a sense of any bits of you that need a bit more care with movement today. Maybe examine your mind, tune into your mind and your thoughts. Maybe decide how you need to feel at the end of this session. And then just take a moment to imagine yourself in that beautiful glass lift. Imagine that lift gently floating down, floor by floor, until it touches the ground. And then gently turn from your shoulders so that your hands are hanging with the palm backwards. And then with your next in-breath, slowly let your arms float up. And as you breathe out, just let them sink back down. Remember the puppet string on your wrist. Remember the empty arms. Remember hands, nice and relaxed. Breathe in, your arms float up. Breathe out, and they sink back down on your own breath and your own rhythm. Breathe in, let your arms float up. Breathe out, and they sink back down. And then last time for this move. And with the next in-breath, let your hands float up and turn them in and let them spread out. And as you breathe out, the hands float back in and back down. Again, only move your arms as far as you can easily manage in one breath. Breathe in, maybe try to feel yourself breathing in positive energy, and on the out breath, breathe out any stress or tension like very slow. Last time for this move. And this time as you breathe in, bring your arms up, ready to paint rainbows. As you breathe out, dip gently on your left knee and let your right arm uncurl. As you breathe in, the hand comes back up. Then do the same on the other side. Again, don't worry about how high your arms are, any tension in your shoulders, and just let your shoulders relax. Breathe out. One hand floats down as you breathe in, it comes back up. And the last time for this move, you breathe in, everything comes back to the center. Then turn your hands outwards. As you breathe out, let your hands sweep down by your side. As you breathe in, let them float up again. Movement is called parting the clouds. But actually, it's all about mixing up your energy. Because in the 3 moves we've just done, you've filled your body up with energy, and now with this move, acting like a giant cake mixer to make sure that your energy is completely flowing. Again, think of your shoulders, don't take your arms up too high, and your own breath and your own rhythm. Breathe in, your arms float up. Breathe out and they sink back down. And then last time for this move. And this time as you breathe out, bring your hands into position ready to balance your chin. As you breathe in, imagine yourself smoothing around a ball, and as you breathe out, imagine you're pushing it underwater. Breathe in, smooth around that ball, breathe out and push it underwater. And then for the last time, breathe in, smooth around the ball, and this time as you breathe out, bring your hands to rest in your lap or just in front of your belly button. Just for a moment, stand still and silent and still, and just let everything settle down. And then when you're ready, open your eyes and get yourself into position, ready for the meditation. So, I'm going to ask you to get yourself settled and listen to the sound of the singing bowl. And listen the third time to Try to find a point where the sound of the singing bowl fades into silence. If you find a point of silence, maybe you'd like to allow your eyes to close, if you wish. I'd like you to let your attention move inwards, so you become aware of where you're sitting or lying, and the touch of the bed or the chair on your body. Maybe get a sense of gravity pulling you a little further in, so that you sink a little deeper. And as you do, maybe you can just allow your shoulders to relax a little bit more, so that you relax even deeper into the bed or chair. And then let your attention continue to move inwards. And I want you to become aware of your breathing. Just focus your attention on your breath, not changing your breath in any way, but just noticing what it is that you notice about each in-breath and each out-breath. And as you do this, let go of any natural tendency to wonder if you're doing it right, or to wonder what others are doing, because whatever you notice is perfect for you. So just notice what you notice, accepting whatever you notice. And every time your mind wants to wander away, as it will do, because that's what minds want to do, just gently lead your mind back to focusing on every in-breath and every out-breath. Because right here, right now, you don't need to worry about anything or focus on anything except just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. Just this breath coming in, just this breath going out. It doesn't matter how many times you need to lead your mind back. Every time you notice what your mind is doing, you're succeeding in being mindful. And every time you lead your mind back to focusing on your breath, you are succeeding in being mindful. Whatever you notice about your breath, there is almost certainly some movement in that. Movement of breath or movement of muscle. But now can you become aware of that brief moment of stillness in between each breath? Don't hold your breath or change your breathing in any way. Just try to focus your attention on that brief moment of stillness. And as you notice that stillness, maybe you will find that that stillness becomes reflected in your body and in your mind. And you might like to think about the fact that that moment of stillness happens hundreds of times every day, whether you're aware of it or not. And can you maybe use your breath and your awareness of your breath to anchor yourself into that moment of stillness? And keep in the front of your mind the thought that you can find this moment of stillness anytime you need to, by focusing your attention onto your breath. now I'd like you to let your attention start to move outwards again. Whether you become aware once more of the bed or the chair and the touch of the bed or chair on your body. And let your attention move further outwards so that you become aware of the room and sounds inside or outside the room. I'm going to ask you to listen to the sound of the singing bowl. Keep your eyes closed until the bowl has sounded for the third time. Allow your eyes to open if they were closed. And keep in the front of your mind the thought that you can find that good feeling anytime you need to, simply by focusing your awareness onto your breathing. Okay, thank you. I hope that was interesting, helpful, enjoyable. Next week, because I'm working logically, I will be covering move 2. I'm always happy to receive comments, criticisms, compliments. The 3 C's are always helpful. And please feel free to tell anybody that you think might benefit from these videos where to find them. And in the meantime, have a good day, and I will see you next week.